Straight ahead on WBKB, the Michigan State Police beefs up safety measures ahead of planned weekend demonstrations.
Plus, the renovation date for the Bagley Street Bridge is just around the corner, and a response to the possible return to indoor dining.
You're watching Thunder Bay News Network. WBKB News at 6 starts now.
This is WBKB News at 6. An in-depth look at news, weather, and sports. From hard-hitting news stories to local events, we're there with coverage you can count on. You're watching WBKB News at 6.
Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Tyler Cruz.
And I'm Sherry Stewart. The Michigan State Police says in advance of an unknown number of demonstrations expected to gather on the grounds of the Capitol building in Lansing on Sunday, they have increased both personnel and protective measures. Following last week's actions in D.C. and online chatter promoting marches across the nation, the police have increased their presence at the Capitol. MSP says they are working in coordination with local and county law enforcement, the Michigan National Guard, and the FBI.
Out of an abundance of caution, we have already increased our visible uniform presence in and around the Capitol. This increase in staffing started on Monday and will be in place through at least mid-February.
Colonel Gasper says it's their hope that those who choose to demonstrate at our Capitol do so peacefully and without violence or destruction of property. Special Agent Tim Waters with the FBI says his agency has opened numerous investigations in the state of Michigan related to individuals involved in criminal activity at the nation's capital on January 6th.
Our intent is to work with the U.S. Attorney's Office to hold those who participated in criminal activity accountable for their actions.
Law enforcement is asking the public to assist in their effort by reporting suspicious and unusual activity. Tips can be submitted by calling 1-855-MICH-TIP.
While Governor Whitmer announced that February 1st may bring back indoor dining, many restaurants are still struggling to find out how and when they will reopen.
Yeah, I think some of the surprising news we found the other day is that February 1st isn't even really a guarantee. They keep it open, they keep it available, but we don't know definitively if that's when restaurants will reopen.
Michigan Restaurant and Lodging Association President Justin Winslow says that owners need more guidance from the government in opening their doors again.
It needs the details to be able to decide which decisions to make. Are we at 50% capacity? Something less? Will there be a curfew? What other hoops might this industry have to jump through to be able to get its stores back open? None of those things are known.
Winslow says that the second shutdown wasn't unique to Michigan, but the pace of their reopening has been.
You know, all states across the country had a late fall surge. Some chose to close, most didn't, but even those states have almost to a state all reopened. The one or two other states that haven't have a plan in place. So we feel pretty unique in the country at this place right now.
The government put 3 metrics in place for reopening: the 7-day average of COVID cases, COVID hospitalizations, and percent positivity all needed to trend downward since the fall, and all 3 statistics have.
Which is why we're so dumbfounded right now, right? The evidence is so overwhelmingly clear. All 3 categories have decreased, and decreased by more than half in 2 of the 3 cases, right?
While February 1st may be a saving grace for many small businesses, there are a lot who have not been so fortunate.
Nearly 3,000 restaurants in the state of Michigan have closed that were open in the beginning of 2020, closed permanently.
Winslow also says the association is hopeful that hospitality employees will be a priority vaccination group and help boost the ailing industry.
If you or someone you know is looking to be the change for struggling students, Alpena Public Schools may be able to help. APS is looking for AmeriCorps reading interventionists for Sanborn this school year. Part and full-time positions are open and start in March. Interventionists will serve kindergarten through 3rd grades using one-on-one scripted interventions during school hours. While the job is not employed through Alpena schools, no experience is necessary as training will be provided. Whether you are a recent grad looking to make a career change, a stay-at-home parent, or even a retiree, you can apply. In Michigan, 1 in 2 third-grade graders struggle to read at grade level, and you can make a difference by giving your time and talent to help students become successful readers and learners. For more information and details on the program, you can call 616-729-2805.
Alpena residents may want to start planning changes to their commutes. The Alpena County Road Commission announced the Bagley Street Bridge Rehabilitation Project begins on Monday, February 8th. Bagley Street will be closed from the Road Commission driveway to the Word of Life Church driveway. However, drivers will still be able to access Burkholder Drive. The project involves stripping down and updating the bridge to add sidewalks, lighting, and more. The Road Commission expects to complete the project on December 20th, 2021. And tune in tomorrow night at 11 to learn some useful detours.
Well, according to the National Human Trafficking Hotline, in 2019, Michigan had 172 reported cases of human trafficking, ranking 7th in the nation. While easier said than done, adults and children should be vigilant about protecting themselves, and that's why this next story is so important. WBKB's Tiffany Maddox tells us why we should pay attention to who our children spend their time with.
According to state statistics, since 2012, Michigan has seen an increase in human trafficking and sexual abuse cases. And it's so easy for children and adults to become victims in either area, including befriending the people that you trust the most. It's easy to leave your kids with people you trust. Investigators say 27-year-old Jasminique Strickland engaged in sex with at least 3 teen boys as young as 15 from 2015 through 2018. According to court documents, her husband, Strickland, then a pastor in Kalamazoo, paid the teens to have sex with Jasminique while he watched.
They were 16, they were taken advantage of by people that were in positions of trust.
Kalamazoo County Prosecutor Jeff Getting says this case is about more than just sexual conduct. It's people in a position of power abusing the trust that it brings. Mr. Strickland, who was charged with 11 felonies in the child sex crime cases, was the lead pastor at Second Baptist Church in Kalamazoo. His wife, a paraprofessional at an alternative high school. State police say 2 of the alleged victims attended the school.
We're going to hold people or seek to hold people accountable when they're involved in this kind of activity.
Michigan State Police say making sure you have open communication with your kids is key.
If there's any doubt in that person's mind, the child's mind, young adolescent or adult, that what they're being asked to do is inappropriate, they need to have the confidence they can talk with somebody from their household or a teacher or someone else.
And that was Tiffany Maddox reporting. Jasminique Strickland is charged with 3 counts of third-degree criminal sexual conduct, 2 counts of child sexually abusive activity, and 3 counts of human trafficking of a minor for commercial sex. Well, there is more news ahead for you here on WBKB. Coming up, one company is critical of the governor's plans for a pipeline shutdown.
I'll let you know when those temperatures are going to drop into the teens ahead later in the newscast.
And thanks for that, Ellie. Well, earlier this week, the Great Lakes Michigan Jobs Coalition thanked Enbridge for its response to Governor Whitmer's move to shut down Line 5. WBKB's Stephanie Minichi has more on this story.
A spokesperson for the Michigan Chamber says the move to shut down the pipeline would kill thousands of jobs and raise energy prices significantly during an already trying time. Mike Alimo says Enbridge and the Line 5 critical energy infrastructure in the state support 47,000 direct and indirect jobs.
Labor jobs, energy jobs, all the way down to chemical and advanced manufacturing jobs are all supported by the petroleum products that pass through the line.
Alimo says if the pipeline were to close in May, all of those jobs would be at risk. He added that in addition to saving jobs, there are other factors as to why they are proponents of this tunnel project.
Consensus was essentially reached around this idea that putting it under the lake, encasing it in concrete, would result in the risk of a spill being virtually zero. And so that is why we are such a strong proponent of the tunnel project.
Alimo says that Enbridge and their legal and environmental experts have made sure that this project impacts the environment as little as possible. He also says that the goal is to move forward with a project that is good for Michigan employees. In Alpena, Stephanie Minichi, WBKB News.
Thanks for that, Stephanie. And Health Watch, a new tool for cancer treatment and the trigger behind allergic reactions to food. Nancy Chin has a look at some of the day's top health stories.
Scientists at Yale are zeroing in on what triggers allergic food reactions. They say the body has a built-in food quality control system that reacts to toxins. Researchers found that over time, the human body has been exposed to processed foods, hygiene products, and antibiotics, and that now the gut may react to some food proteins as if they are toxins. The coronavirus has had a major impact on the detection and treatment of cancer. Researchers at Brigham and Women's Cancer Center in Massachusetts say about 1,400 cancers and precancerous growths would have been diagnosed if more screenings were performed at the health center during the first peak of the pandemic. And scientists in California say they've developed a new tool to determine whether older adults with early-stage breast cancer will develop severe or deadly side effects to chemotherapy. Oncologists can discuss a patient's score on the risk assessment tool and weigh treatment options against quality of life concerns. Those are some of the day's top health stories. Nancy Chen, CBS News, New York.
Well, coming up on WBKB News, Ellie Morrison is next with your 7-day forecast, plus the photo of the day. Stay tuned.
Send us, email it along with a short description to news@WBKB11.com.
Well, you know, Sherry, I may end my week with some s'mores tonight, too.
I know. I love those things.
Don't go anywhere. Coming up next, we'll have everything and more in sports. But first, Jake Vanderbrook is in with a preview. Jake, what's going on?
Tyler, next in sports, believe it or not, on this day, we have a sport that was invented on January 15th. Plus, Johannesburg-Lewiston Cardinals football team, they get ready for Saturday state semifinal matchup against Ubly. We'll preview that for you when WBKB News.
And as always, you can read more about our broadcast stories and get the scoop on other news items online.
Just visit WBKB11.com for sports, weather, and news updates anytime, day or night.
Or be sure to check us out on our Facebook page and Twitter handle at WBKB11.
And that's all we have for you this evening. Be sure to catch us back here tonight at 11 with Kent Davis. Have a great weekend.